Hello, and welcome to my playground. This is the Mad Chemist Church, or Church McGrich, depending on where you know me from. And welcome to Madman Review. Today we're taking a look at Surroundead. Got a play on words there, surround and dead, so you can kind of guess what kind of game this is. Now, I do have to preface it. I did start this game. Turn that off before we get going. I did start this game before an update came out. So what you play after watching this might be a little bit different than what I play, and it might also be a little bit there might be a little bit of a correction to some of the critiques I have. So let's get into it. So one of my biggest critiques, which I think might have been fixed in the last update after I had started my playthrough, and I was already pretty far in, is it says there's quests, but I couldn't find any quests. The one, I believe there was like one quest. I did it, I completed it, and this is that's better. I did it, I completed it, and I haven't gotten another quest since. I believe in the update they changed that. They also changed some animations and some other things and some noises, music, yada yada yada. But where I'm at, so this is Surrounded. So it's kind of got a pixel polygon esque feel to the game. I'm not super picky on graphics, especially when it's a game like this where it's just kind of like a goofy, have fun, shoot, kill zombies kind of thing. So you can see this is kind of like my bedroom slash main base of operation. Bases at this point, as far as I'm aware, don't get rated. I don't remember. I believe this game is supposed to be multiplayer, but so far I've only really played it as single player. So you can put up walls and turrets and stuff to defend your base. There's like a beacon to call in a horde of zombies. So you can put up like turrets and walls to help keep the zombies from coming at you and destroying your beacon. And it's kind of like a wave defense thing where once you kill them all, you loot them and you get a bunch of cool stuff. It wasn't that bad. It was just kind of like there's a lot quick and a couple bosses. So as you can see, refrigerators, dresser cabinets, gun lockers, bed, obviously, set your spawn point, sleep, table, radio, you can turn radio on, and that changes kind of the silence because there's sometimes background music and then there's not. So you can play different tracks, different things like that. There's these little things that are super rare that you find eventually, and because I've killed a lot of zombies, you find these things called ornaments. So I've got like a dog with a gold chain. These refrigerators, I pretty much just have like full water, meat, canned goods, MREs, just stuff I've collected and haven't used. As you can see where I'm positioned, where my head is, it's covering up some of the menu, but it's not covering up a whole heck of a lot. These gun lockers can hold obviously guns and other gun-related things like magazines and clips. So all these different magazines for the different kinds of guns. That dresser typically holds pretty much anything, but I have these random bits of heavy body armor in here. Other little things that are ornaments, basically collectibles you can find that are kind of rare. Like I have this Newton's cradle, basically one of those things where you move it and one ball hits and the next ball hits and then you can change it. And basically motion in motion stays in motion. Found this little Viking dude, a knight. I think that's a goblin, and a samurai. And those are the only ones I found. I believe I saw there was more. There's a couple different ones, but those are the only ones so far that I've found. They are pretty rare, so I'm kind of happy I found those as is, especially those ones in particular. There's tool cabinets. These things are nice because they specifically hold things that are considered tools. So things that are considered like a material can go in here. So I have all these different kinds of materials. These are all just, I have max stacks. Well, some of them aren't max stacks, but these are like bigger items that I don't want to keep on me. And then of course repair kits for your weapons and repair kits for your armor. As you can see, armor does have health, 100%, 100%, 100%, all my stuff's 100%. There's batteries, you'll get batteries to put into different things like the flashlight, or like this has a night vision goggles, you put a battery in it. The tactical laser and light combo on my shotgun has a battery, put a light, has a light, so battery, all the different weapons. So one of the nice things is if you have multiple magazines, you can keep them in your inventory, load them with bullets, and then when you hit reload, it just reloads the magazine and swaps out the empty for the full. And there's no, like, you just have bullets in your inventory and it immediately loads them for you. No, you have to actually load the magazine, then you have to have the magazine in your inventory. So there's camping lights I have all over the place to provide light. These don't require any source, they're just free light. You can just have on at all points in time. As soon as we come down here, we now have everything that kind of requires electricity. So there's these construction lights. They require this generator, this industrial generator. It's really nice. I found this in like a drop. So that's another thing, is that there's random events, including like helo drops and crashed helos and different kinds of stuff around there. One of the planes that drops like a bunch of free stuff had this industrial generator in it, and it took quite a bit to get it back to base. All your different kinds of crafting tables, battery chargers, different kind of crafting tables with different things you can craft. This is a craft from inventory, so you do have to have this stuff on you if you want to. So all kinds of like defense, storage, so that people can't come in and steal from you. Battery charging, like I said. Disassemble, put something in here you don't want instead of sailing it. You can disassemble it for parts. Turrets, they don't, at this point in time, they don't require bullets or anything. They just require power, which is what the generator's for. Ammo crate, all my excess max capped out ammo, except for a handful of these, which I just kind of, every time I come in here, I'll take it out, put it in there. Legendary pieces, more legendary magazines. And this is where I kind of did my collector thing, and I collected like one of every gun that I got. So there's one of every different kind of gun that I've seen so far. There might be new ones that I don't have. So just all the different kinds of weapons. Decontamination, there is radioactivity, so you come up here and you interact with it and it gives you a little shower. And you immediately get rid of all your radiation. You can see in the bottom left corner, you have food, water, and radiation. Right now I'm at 100% radiation, meaning I am not radiated. Why they did it like that, I don't know. You think it'd be the opposite, where it'd go from 0 to 100, but whatever. So far, cooking, the only thing I found for cooking is this guy. You just walk up to your campfire, push it, and you can get fish, meat, and then your different forms of water. Wells generate water over time in case you don't have like a source nearby. So I built 2 wells and just dropped them here, and now I've got 2,000. And if I need something, I can fill the bottle, or I'm at 63%. I can drink. Fills me up, and I'm good. Over here, I have just kind of random things. So you can gather wood, you can gather stone, and you can gather scrap. So you have different items to gather it, like the pickaxe, obviously for stone, the fireman's axe, obviously for wood. This will gather scrap. This is just a melee weapon. This is for stone. I believe these are for wood as well. And then these are just normal legendary melee weapons that I've found spares of, just in case something happens and I lose one. I got a backup here. This is just a very large canister where I keep a bunch of random stuff, like my horde beacons, my military intel laptop, which allows you to go in and find these horde beacons, plus a bunch of high level stuff. This random cool set of armor I found that's ghillie. No idea what it does. I just thought it was really cool looking. Different pieces of equipment that I was like, I'll just hold on to in case I ever need a spare. Fuel. And then just containers. Containers that do one thing in particular. Hold medical items, or holds tools, or holds only ammo. This one I think is just, it holds whatever, but it's got a low rate. And I believe if I look at the map, let's take a look at the map. Yeah, so these are the drops. So every once in a while, a big plane will go across the map, and it'll do several drops. There's one right there. These drops generally have decent and large amounts of different items on them. Oh wow, those reset. Yeah, all that reset. Well, damn. That makes me kind of pissed. So while we're taking a look at the map, so all of these orange triangles or diamonds are basically random events, different kinds. There's a handful of different kinds, and everything else is like a point of interest. Like this diamond, just a food airdrop. I think I got it out of the green one, the military. Is where I got the generator out of, but it's like a super rare chance, so I'm like, I got super lucky. But as you can see, all these are different points of interest, and when you look at it, it tells you what the point of interest is, and if it's something in particular, it tells you loot to find, legendary weapons, legendary equipment, and what you can find there. Like a special container looted, got that. Point of interest, boss defeated, I did that. So if you're looking for something in particular, you find, oh, I'm looking for legendary weapons. This place has a good amount of them. So I go there and I get the loot. Now the difference is this game, enemies respawn pretty quickly, and loot respawns every time you relaunch the game. So if you're looking for something, you can kind of go hit all the chests in an area, leave the save, leave the game, and then come back, and all the chests and all the zombies will have respawned. So it's basically, you can just continuously farm an area just by kind of coming back. All the green are basically areas that have radiation. The symbols for each point are kind of what they are. Like the eagle is a military. Church, obviously. Office buildings. Radio tower. Abandoned construction site. Houses, obviously houses. Another thing is there's also like some of these will be like abandoned houses you can take over. They have bunkers that you can take over and move all your stuff in, so you're underground and out of the way. And you can put like a bunker door on so you're harder to breach and get into. There's where I am, and that's where my camp. That way I can always find it on the map. And then there's safe locations like the Valley Safe Zone, the crashed ship safe zone, and this is where you can go. You can't get attacked by other players if there's PvP, and no zombies can get in. There's another one along the road here somewhere. There's another one in this area. Yeah, scavenger safe zone right here. These are places where you can sell goods, you can trade, you can do stuff like that if you're doing multiplayer. And then there's this infection symbol. Infection generally means that there is a pile of bodies that attracts and changes zombies nearby. So basically makes them harder to kill, they have more hit points, they're faster, and they deal more damage. I had gone through and I had cleared the entire map of all the infestation. And last time I saved, none of these symbols were here. So like the last place I had done was right here. That was the last one. So it looks like a handful of them, the infestation has come back. I don't know if that was just due to the update changing things, so it immediately, made it come back so that I have the same chance at getting something specifically in these areas, since mine's an older save. But yeah, I just cleared out like Cloud Water, and then I came down here and cleared this one out. And I had just cleared out like this one a long time ago. Like this was one of the first ones I cleared out, Elwood. So, and this was the first one I cleared out of infestation. Actually, come to think about it, I don't think this one actually had infestation. I think this was one of the. I think they finally added infestation to these ones, because I do not remember Green Valley having infestation. I do remember this one though having infestation, so that's where I'm kind of confused. But as you can see, the symbols also tell you like what you could find. Like this guy, he's a shop. Obviously, you go there, you can find a shop. He sells vehicles. Market, shop, and diner. You can find food here. Gas can, obviously. Gas. City means you're going to find a lot of stuff, but these also tell you what you can find. Campsites, generally, this is where you can find random gear and other little helpful things. But a lot of your stuff can be purchased if you have the money from your safe zones. There's also random little vendors that pop up every once in a while, but they take things called credit, which you generally only get from killing bosses. So as you can see, my nice vehicle collection, I like it. I don't know if it was a bug or not, but I logged in and my fuel had dropped several percentages, and I had not used any of these vehicles. There's also blood moons, so during blood moon, zombies there's far more of them, and they're far harder to kill. And they spawn quicker, too. I think this is the only one I didn't refuel. But I had logged in, and like all these guys were down to like in between like 95 and 99% on their fuel. So I'm like, is this going to be where fuel degrades over time? Because at that point, I'd rather just get rid of the vehicles at that time than have to just watch their fuel slowly degrade and go down. But each of these different vehicles, you can see, have like a military Humvee. They have different amounts of fuel they can hold. They have different amounts of hit points before you have to repair them, and they all have different storage. So the whole point of the storage is you can actually live out of a vehicle. You can play this game on the road the entire time, and you can walk over and open your storage and have like backpacks in here with sleeping bags and different things in case you need to sleep or set a spawn point or whatever. This isn't all the vehicles in the game. This is just the ones I've found and collected. Like you're almost guaranteed there's a spot where the SWAT van always spawns, but like the ambulances come in different colors, the vans, all this stuff come in like different colors. It's just whatever one happens to spawn that day. So let me turn the flashlight on. Then you can make repair kits. There's like, go-kart or buggy, whatever you want to call it. Utility trucks that you can add things to make them hold more stuff. But the armor, like the Humvee, like when you run over a zombie, you deal more damage. Or you deal damage and instantly kill the zombie, but it also does damage to the vehicle. And it's like things like the Humvee and the SWAT van take less damage when they get hit. I always use the Jeep because the 4x4 Jeep is the fastest. So far out that I've found it's the fastest because it's a 4x4. So if you're trying to cut across something, you don't get slowed down by not being on a road. So I typically, if I'm going anywhere, I'll take the Jeep. As for right now, I'm not really, because this is just kind of like a review walkthrough kind of thing. So as you can see, no zombies. It's fine because it's a blood moon. I'm gonna pause that real quick. That was a lot of loud noise that I didn't want. Uh, see, blood moon settling down. Tells you how many days you've survived. So you can see there's no real threat of zombies. A lot of stuff, like these workbenches, when you put it down, it says block spawn. So it'll block the spawn of zombies in a area. It's a pretty decent sized area. Guess at this point, crafting, these are like basic things you can craft on the road as long as you have it in your inventory. Equipment, you have gas mask, helmet, eyewear. I haven't really found anything other than like some sunglasses. Accessory, again, like a scarf. Haven't really found anything other than like a scarf. Your top, gloves, pants, boots, a random container you can have. This is probably the best one I've found personally. Your vest, so basically like either an armor vest or I have the hunter's vest. Why? Because it has 24 slots. And a large military backpack, so your backpack. So the large black military backpack isn't the best one in the game, but I found it to be the most useful. Then at your sidearm, your melee weapon, and then two primaries. I have a shotgun and a fast-paced sniper rifle. As you can see, these are legendary. This is rare, and that's legendary. I got lucky, and one of the kills I had gotten dropped this guy. And it's probably the best in the game, or it is the best in the game when it comes to like radiation. When it comes to like getting in radiation, as you can see, radiation protection 100%. Radiation filter usage per second is 0.0008. Fishing pole to go fishing. Compass. So if you don't have the GPS or the compass, you don't get the thing at the top of the screen. And you don't get this. So there's an arrow here. That's me. If you don't have the GPS, you don't get that on the map, and you just have to play guess. Binoculars, obviously military grade, high-powered flashlight. That's why it looks so good. And then you have a throwable item. So far, all I've seen in the game is that there's like a noisemaker to make zombies kind of move, a grenade, and a Molotov cocktail. That's about all I've seen so far for like throwable items, and pipe bombs, but you have to make those. I haven't actually seen them anywhere, or like drop. Each weapon you can see has different attachments, plus shows you what kind of ammunition it requires. There's no magazine, so for this, there's the magazine, there's the ammunition it's got, there's the suppressor on it so that it doesn't make a lot of noise. For a shotgun, sight, since the shotgun doesn't have a magazine, as it's a single load at a time. Pistol, this is probably one of the better pistols in the game. And then a melee weapon, this is one of the better ones. The katana's nice, but it's just not as fast. That one, it's really nice. It just katana kind of has like little bits longer swings. More accessories for different legendaries. Each legendary, like, it's very specific. Like, that can only be equipped to the Valkyrie. So I've collected at least one of every legendary. I've got like, so I'm using this, but I have a spare just in case. Battle Ready, Deadeye, Colonel Barrett's, another sniper rifle, some assault rifles. You can see, stop on each one a little bit. Valkyrie, M2010, Marksman's Legacy, and then the Phantasm. All different, and then each one has different damage, all the different specs on it. And then they have their own unique pieces that you can equip on them that do different things. Like this is a crusher sight. It gets rid of 10% vertical recoil, whereas most sights don't do that. So each one of these like will have something that a normal sight wouldn't. So it's actually worth getting one of these versus going and getting a normal sight, which would do something like just reduces stability or something instead of recoil. And then the suppressors, generally the legendary suppressors do like 95% noise, weapon noise reduction, whereas a normal suppressor that you could just find pretty much, I believe, is only like 40. Same thing with the muzzle brakes. Instead of just doing vertical recoil, it'll do damage recoil and like damage fall off. So the legendary ones are always their stuff is always specifically better. That's it for vehicles. There are other vehicles out there, like a big wheel, so basically like a monster truck, which is really cool. There's some other weapons and attachments out there that I probably don't have, but I wasn't too worried about gathering everything. I was just kind of like, I want to go around, I want to discover all the points of interest, I want to destroy all the infestation, and then I'm kind of done because I can't, for whatever reason, get the quest to work. Which, if you press your menu button, which for PC it's J, it pulls up your menu. Or not menu, but your journal. Skull tracker. So my survivor's license, my name, sex, age, and then my prior occupation. I had this set, I forget as what, I think I was like a firefighter or something, but it seems like every time you die, you don't come back as the same character, you come back as a new survivor. So you drop all your gear, and you come back as a new survivor with same name, same everything but it seems like prior occupation changes per character. And generally you start with like clothes and a knife and that's it. So then you got to run all the way back to your body and get your stuff back. So that's how many zombies this character has killed. Not overall, just this character. Kill over almost 2,000, boss 34, humans 54, because there are bandits that will attack you can kill, and soldiers. Animals killed, I've killed 12. So one of the nice things is that I've only killed 12, but I have all that meat. You might say, well, how have you only killed 12 and all that meat? Well, 2 reasons. Zombies will attack animals. Yeah, infestations destroyed 31. Zombies will attack animals, so I can just run in and kill the zombies after they've killed the animal and harvest the meat. Also, as you'll see here in a second, there's a perk. Dave survived 31, distance traveled 201.46, and then you have your watch here, so it shows you the time and day. Also says 2027, that's next year. Who knows what's going to happen? So skills. As you can see, each thing has a skill, and by that, it tells you as you level, what it does. Improves stamina, speed of player in hand and out of water, breathing underwater, strength, swimming speed, improved melee damage, toughness, sneaking, first aid, marksmanship, reloading, thief, break into stuff. Yeah, and that's just from like scavenging. Fishing, I haven't done a lot of fishing, and scavenging again. How fast it takes, because you actually have to sit there and loot an item when you're opening it. So all these different things you get for just doing it. I don't do a lot of the stuff, and a lot of the things I have done have been because of books. You get these books, they give you bonuses and XP. Different kinds of tiers give you different things. There's also a skill tree. As you can see, I have 14 points, and I have everything unlocked. So I have a feeling there might be something else coming down the line, but I have everything, and the thing I was saying, how do I have so much meat? Well, extra bag of meat from animal kills. So when you kill an animal, I get more meat. Now here's the thing. It was one of my biggest complaints, and they may have fixed. Active 0, quest 1, safe zone. This was the first quest I got. It's the only quest I've got. Don't know. Okay, as for that pretty much covers everything. And then you have your hotbar. You can set things down on your hotbar. Your stamina, your health. Other than that, the only thing left that I have to kind of go over is the inventory. And this is one of the games that has one of the weirdest, but one of the coolest inventory things you can do. And it's called, you can have a bag, inside a bag, inside a bag, inside a bag. So as you can see, I have a bunch, this is my backpack. Everything here, all these open slots are my backpack. And things I have on me, like my pants can carry 12, this can carry 18, this carries 24, this is 66. So here's your, and everything's labeled for you. And then your basic inventory that you hold. So as you can see, I have bags in bags and bags and bags, and then I'm just carrying around stuff just in case I need it while I'm out in the wild. So here, and this is all just increasing that 66 that the large military backpack has. And then wallets for carrying currency. So these are key cards. I was lucky. I got a kill on a boss and it dropped me the all access key card. Different key cards for different levels. I think I'm missing like level 3 and 4, but I use those up and then I got this. So now I don't actually need any of these because this is permanent, whereas these are one-time uses. Money, there's a lot of money. But that's enough to go buy a vehicle. It's anywhere from 17 to 18,000 to go buy a vehicle at the dude. Credits, these you get from opening locked chests, locked safes, locked doors, killing bosses, stuff like that. And then this is like the special stuff where you can go to these specialty stores and buy like really good stuff like legendary weapons and parts. On this side, I've got like when I'm out there collecting tools, because there's different tools, like you need bolt cutters to break into things that have locks, you need wire cutters to break into things that have like alarms and stuff. And then I just have like other random things for like the larger items that I don't want in here, because these fill up pretty quickly when you're out just looting everything. A lot of the times you'll see these vehicles like this and then you just walk over and you can see I walked up, I pressed F. Some things you have to hold F on and it'll start searching or salvaging. Others you can press F. You're done. It finishes what it needs to do. And voila, I just got 34 scrap. I can now come here. Boom. There's no weight limit, so you can carry as many bags as you want. And that's why it makes living out of a vehicle even easier, because I could fill this with bags, all bags, and then just fill this with bags, and then just fill that with bags, and then fill that with bags. And now I've got this bag and bag and bag economy. Like I have this bag here to hold stuff, but I also have these bags here to hold the different kinds of healing. And trust me, you go through a lot of healing. Radiation pills, splints, painkillers, bandages, small med kits, large med kits. You go through a ton of them. And then because weapons take up such big spaces, like if I take this off and I put it here, that is a huge amount of space to take up for one item. So in this bag I have all these weapon cases, because then I can fill all these up with nothing but weapons and then come back and sell them or keep them depending on if I have it or not. All my ammo, so that I don't have ammo clogging up everywhere. I can just immediately throw it into here once it fills up, put it in the thing. My one random rocket I found. I still haven't found the RPG, the rocket launcher to actually get it, or to shoot it. But then, like, you see, I don't have all that stuff here. But I also have like all these lunch boxes which only carry food and water, so I got plenty of water. Or if I find water, I put it in here so that's not taking up space. And then this military secure container just holds pretty much anything, so I always have filters and batteries in here. And this one obviously is tools. Wallets, tools, lockpicks, because there is lockpicking. I think that's it for inventory. I am running low on food. So stats drop pretty quickly in this game. So it's always a good idea to have some food on you and water. Like while I'm at base, I typically don't use my stuff that's in my inventory. I'll just come to the fridge. I got so much food here. And a lot of stuff doesn't do a whole heck of a lot. So like the small pretty much comes from like rabbits, but the large will come from like bears, deer, wolves, A lot of the reasons why, another reason why I have so much meat and I only have like 12 animal kills is because there are infected slash radioactive hounds. So basically, military dogs that are now zombies that they count as zombies when you get the kill. But when you when you go to like search them, they drop meat. So I've killed a ton of those radioactive feral hounds, and every time they just give me meat. So I'm like, I got a shit ton of meat. Let's see here. So let's go have a look at the zombies real quick. Pretty much all these trees are cut downable. The only thing is even if you have something down that blocks spawn, they still respawn every time you log in. Same thing with rocks. So unless you move like an actual item over it to block the spawn, no matter what you cut down, those trees will still be there. As you can see why there's all these kinds of trees in my parking garage. So aim, pull out the reticle. I have a silencer on it, that's why there was practically any noise and these zombies didn't decide to keep coming at me. I don't have any other magazines on me, so I'm not gonna reload. And reloading will change the magazine out, so if I do like hit reload again, and my one magazine only had 3 bullets in it, I'll reload to the magazine with only 3 bullets. So you gotta be careful when you're like reloading and that you don't just Call of Duty reload. Something's bugging out. Yeah, it's bugging. It won't stay. There it goes. There it goes. That's another issue I was having. Was for some reason, I'm just gonna have to change that button because it's a specific button to look down the scope. So if you just aim, you aim normally. Okay, you're kind of slow. So let's show. So the katana uses up a lot of energy. This guy does not use up any energy. It's like practically nothing. So you can see different items. So there's a baseball bat in case you want that as your melee weapon. There's smartphones, basically garbage. There's things you can sell for money. But yeah, the button sometimes sticks. So there's also these acidic enemies that when you kill them, they have a lot higher health. When you kill them with melee only? Is it really only melee? So apparently when you kill the acidic with melee only, they explode. And they'll do radiation damage. Then there's radioactive enemies that will do radiation damage when they hit you and for a little while after. The nice thing about melee is that melee can hit up to 4 zombies at a time. So if you're trying to deal with like a big group, you can deal damage to at least 4 of them with one swing. So it does give you that. As long as you have the stamina, you can kind of kite enemies for a ways. I kind of want to get down here. That's why I'm not. I kind of want to get down here and just show kind of some of the combat of like how this game is played. Typically during the beginning, you're not going to be doing any of this. So, and I'm starting to run out of time on this one. For this review. So as you can see, I've cleared out the area for the most part. You don't know if there's anything inside. So let's go do a quick sweep. None of these buildings are too horrendously complex. So a lot of the times you'll just kind of get up here and there'll be nothing. Or sometimes there'll be like a chest or something and you can just loot it. So obviously each container tells you have to hold F or you can left shift and you won't get as many items. But I can open this up and boom, look at that. I found cat food. And you see a helicopter has crashed. That's another random event. It also tells you when you looted something. So if like, oh, it's looted. Trash bags, so basically random. If you, like I said, if you quick search, you don't get as many items. Junk, dirty water, you can go clean. Junk, and books. Like I was saying, gain 250 XP in a skill. Depending on what book it is, you might not be able to read it. Now my sneaking is level 4 because you've either outpaced it or you're already at like you get times 3 XP for doing this random thing. There'll also be these vehicle wrecks that have random garbage in them, like a pair of sneakers and some cloth. Take that, boom. Other than that, that's pretty much the game. Other than like maybe going after like here's a crashed helicopter event, usually has some pretty high tier loot. Other than going to like a safe zone where there's some vendors that you can sell stuff to and buy stuff like items, resources and stuff, that's pretty much the game. There's some pretty cool looking areas. There's some interesting, all the zombies kind of have different clothes on, but it's a lot of repeat. The bosses have different names, but they're all pretty much the exact same character model. The zombies typically respawn very quickly, which is nice because there are server settings for even your single player. So if you decide you're like, I don't really like how fast the zombies respawn, you can increase, decrease. If you like that challenge, these gates I put down, and these gates block spawns because there was a bunch of zombies that would spawn here, and they would slowly wander up this way, and I'd be doing something like crafting or unloading my bags, and there'd be a zombie on my face, and I'd be like, what? So I found all these metal through scavenging. That's another thing I like about this. The building blocks, like the wooden stuff, where you can actually build a house, like a lot of the handcrafted stuff over here. A lot of this stuff, like the spiked wall and the wooden gate and these crates, you can't find. But stuff like the metal fence, the chair, these shelves, the safes, the refrigerator, stuff like that, you can legitimately go out there and find it and bring it back to your base and just put it down instead of having to craft it. A lot of my stuff I found. I crafted the decamination, the campfire, these workbenches, the wells, that, and the turrets. Because I found a bunch of turrets. That's one of the high level loot stuff. Is you get these turret guns, then you craft them. That's what comes out of these guys when you go to this temporary quest. And like stuff like the face mask will come out of there too. You always have to look at your generator because it's at 75% fuel. It keeps the lights on, it keeps the turrets working. As for that, I think this is where I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end this review / walkthrough. So if you really enjoyed it, give this game a try. It's pretty cheap generally when it goes on sale on Steam. I had a lot of fun with it. I did have some. I kind of gave up on it for a couple days, and then I came back to it and found kind of like my second win because it gets rather boring time after time doing the same. Oh, one of my turrets is shooting. Or no. So the bandits will also shoot at zombies, as you can see down there. But B for binoculars. Yeah, so they'll be like there'll be like bandits, and they'll be like friendly survivors. And when they spawn close enough to zombies, they will start shooting at the zombies. So you can actually let the zombies kill the bandits, or let the bandits kill the zombies, or vice versa, or both. So that's another thing, because as you move around, things kind of spawn around you. That's where you started hearing the guns going off. But other than that, like, I had a lot of fun, but it gets rather slow alone, just because of how many items there are, how quickly zombies respawn, how big some areas are. Like, this is a massive map. And when I got that buggy, and I was so happy I got that buggy, because then it could take me all to these different corners without me having to spend the stamina, the food, the water. So there's another plane went by. You can get food, you get medical, and it's these military drops. These are the ones you want to go after. Yeah, if it wasn't for the fact that I got a vehicle, I probably would have given up on this game, because this game, there's not a ton of variety, but it's enough to keep you hooked for a little while, and you have a good time, especially if you're playing this with friends. I'd say this is probably one of the better games to play with friends. So, until next time, you be you, you stay you. Most importantly, adventure on.